One second here.
I guess.
Okay. So, can you define what ethical veganism is for me, really quick?
Okay, so the moral viewpoint that like any like I guess any type of, for example, any type of animal being slaughtered would affect everybody, basically.
So, any type of animal slaughter is immoral.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ethical
Okay.
veganism. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Well, and that well, it could be pursued to be nearly anything. Like for example, like I don't know, like killing old flies that would like decrease or benefit a lot of people. So yeah,
Hmm.
determines.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the case for ethical veganism. Why the slaughtering of animals is nothing is immoral.
Oh, slaughtering the animals? Oh no, it's just ethical veganism in itself. But if you want, we could just do slaughtering the animal. That's fine.
Wait, what? So, what is ethical veganism defined as?
Oh, it could really be anything. The
Not
moral
it.
viewpoint
Hold
that
on. No.
anything
What
is.
is the actual definition? Not it could be. And what is the definition of the stance?
Oh, the stance in question. I mean, we didn't stop to say cycling on a stance. Sure, that killing whole animals or something like that would basically affect everybody. So there you
Wait.
go.
So wait. Hold on. Killing all animals will affect everybody. That's ethical veganism.
Yeah,
Well,
well, a part of it, not.
okay. What
Is
is
it
the
not?
not a part of it? What is ethical veganism?
Yeah, that's the definition. I'll
Killing
give you.
all.
I'll just give you the definition here.
Yeah.
I'll send it in general.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll
Send
send
it
it in
in.
general.
Send it in.
Here, I sent in the shot, and also,
Hold on. Ethical
yeah,
veganism is the moral viewpoint that affects every aspect of a person's life. So, if I'm taking the stance that killing animals is immoral by affecting all things. Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. Sure. So, killing an animal in any circumstance is considered immoral.
not all circumstances. I'm just saying some animals can be useful. So if you were to kill all of them or kill them all,
Well,
like
we don't kill
yeah,
all animals.
well,
We don't hold on. We don't kill all animals. So what is this? What is this viewpoint?
well, it's basically saying killing animals, not really all animals, but killing animals in itself. So if you were to kill
Okay, so
an animal,
why is it
I
immoral?
kill
Why is it a moral animal?
yeah. So if we were to do it, I forgot that word. Give me a second.
And I have another question, a follow up question, but I'll wait till you
Wait,
answer
wait,
this.
wait, wait, wait. Give me a second. Let's see. Okay, there you go. We can continue now. What did you say?
How do you prescribe moral consideration?
More consideration, like
Yeah.
my definition.
Well, how do you prescribe it? Do you
Well,
need
basically,
perfect to the question, or do you understand the question?
I understand the question. Can you
Okay.
elaborate?
Um, what I essentially mean by how do you prescribe it, for example, if I were to rip a piece of paper in half, that's immoral. But if I were to rip a child in half and they died and bled out, that's wrong to do it. But nobody cares about the piece of paper because the piece of paper does not have moral consideration, but the child does, right? We can
No, I
actually
know.
yeah. So how do you determine moral consideration?
I don't know. The usefulness of the person in question. Like if we make connections with a dog and then we slaughter the dog after
Hold on,
we make
hold on.
connection,
So
and then we
if it's
slaughter. Wait,
if,
wait,
hold on,
let me
if it's
finish my
entire, hold on.
wait, wait. I'm trying to finish my analogy. So if
No,
we
wait,
were to slaughter a pig, for
I
example,
already
can
understand.
I finish or? Okay, so if we were to slaughter like a pig, for example, right, and we make connections with that same pig in question, and then we were to slaughter it, right, wouldn't that be immoral by moral standards? Like if we make
No, it
connections,
wouldn't. But
no,
you
we would
that's
still
wrong. That's in hold up. Stop. You said it's based off of the utility of the person in question.
no
But
doubt.
what if the utility is based off of feeding the entire population? So if one person having a relationship with a pig while it's feeding thousands of people, we can understand the utility based off your own metric. That's it's moral to do so.
Yeah. There's other metrics that can feed the community.
But hold on,
You're
you're
not
saying there's
consider that?
now you can't say there's other metrics because that was your point of moral consideration. This is how you consider all things morally, right? That's how
Yes,
you.
exactly. But wait. Consideration. The consideration of the person in question. What if we're trying to feed that pig, right? We would have to kill other animals. That was infinite
No, you
regress.
don't have to feed
Unless
it.
we just
Wait,
unless
hold
we,
on. Now you're incorrect.
let me finish. Let me finish my
Now,
argument.
I'm not going to let you
Unless
correct. We don't kill animals to feed pigs. That's not true.
you said what?
We don't kill other animals to feed pigs.
No, that's just an example. It's an
That's
example.
it's
More
not
like
an example. We don't do that. What are you talking about?
kill other animals to feed pigs.
We do
Yeah,
not.
we do.
We do not
You
do
want me to
that.
give you an example?
Give me an example, sure.
Okay, that's fine. So you know the case of what's it called? What's that barn called again? What's it called? Estes barn. I don't know if you know. I'll give you like a what's it called? A source for it. Basically, they were killing like goats and shit, and then like stomping it around inside the mud, and then trying to give it to the other animals, etc., to feed the pigs, and then make them big so that they can slaughter the pigs, etc., which would be infinitely best. So it's an example of them doing so.
So
So
hold on. No, that's not what the norm is. It's consistently. I'm looking it up. These grains and protein sources, soybeans and fish meals, and
exactly.
hold on.
No. You just asked me for one example, so I just gave you.
No,
I just gave you interval.
hold on. I asked you for one
So then I
example.
gave you interval
Hold on.
consistency.
No, but
Yeah,
I asked you
nigga, kill yourself.
I asked you I asked you for one example. Yes, correct. But you understand that's an outlier based off of the vast majority. It's not the standard practice. We would have to go on the standard practice, right?
Okay, this standard practice. That's
I
just more or less a
think
sub
they're
point.
eating
Wait. You gotta ask me a question. You gotta let me answer the question.
Go
So
ahead.
you're saying, actually, can you elaborate on your question?
I didn't really say there wasn't a question. I'm just saying that's not the standard practice. Yes, maybe at some farm they were feeding them other animals, but normally they just feed them berries, oats, and wheat, right? But the thing is, though, if your base criterion for moral consideration was utility, they are more useful as livestock than they are as anything else. So
Okay.
it's moral to
So
kill.
yeah, utility exactly. So you're
So
basically
you agree
saying
with
you're
me?
saying that the more yeah.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Hold on. Did you just concede right there?
Yeah, let me finish. Can I elaborate my point real
I'm
quick?
not gonna pause. Sorry, I'm not letting you elaborate. It's because you just accepted
Yeah, I'm
the.
trying to elaborate my point. If you're gonna strong, you're gonna obviously
All
strong.
right, so go ahead. Sorry, elaborate your point. Elaborate.
So you basically said something about how consideration should be there, etc., right?
This
Like,
stupid
Wait,
nigga.
hold on. Do you
I think it's on 1%.
Fucking thing.
know what I mean by moral consideration?
Yeah, give me a second. I think it's on 1%.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, I'm back. What happened?
Do you know what I mean by moral consideration?
Yeah, why?
Oh, please explain to me moral consideration.
Okay, I got you. So basically, moral consideration is basically, I guess we're taking a pig for example, and then you're basically a plot. I guess we're giving it to somebody else. First, I guess a moral obligation, for example, like
Not necessarily.
if a pig
No,
or a connection,
no.
and we have
You're
to
already
give the pig a
incorrect. You're
connection.
wrong. No.
How am I incorrect?
I'm gonna.
How am I incorrect? It's a moral.
tell you.
It's a moral obligation.
No,
It's
it's
a
not.
moral
You're wrong.
obligation
You're
to do
wrong. No.
virtue.
No.
Theoretical virtue, which you have to
No,
apply.
you are. Stop talking. Why are you talking still? You're just saying stuff. No.
How am I saying stuff?
Because you're incorrect. I will tell you what moral consideration is.
Okay,
Moral consideration. All it is that something good or bad can be done to me. Something immoral or moral can be done to me.
No,
No moral consideration is that whatever is done to me, it's amoral. For example,
yeah,
If I am a water bottle, an empty plastic water bottle, no matter what to is done to me, nothing is moral about that.
Yeah, I'm just using Aristotle's defense for slavery, which he literally states that moral consideration. And remember, he is the etymology for the term. And he says that
That's
moral
an
consideration is
that's
the
a pseudo
inherent
authority.
virtue
I
for
don't
the
care what
matter of
Aristotle says.
for
I don't
their
care. That's
sake. So
pseudo
let's say
authority
I were to
fallacy.
kill. Let me elaborate for my definition. So
Go
let's say
ahead.
I were to kill a pig, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me killing a pig, right? That would benefit me. So that would be moral consideration in this
Wait a minute.
case.
So
Why are you
you
trying to
see?
take one steak and then trying to
Wait,
benefit somebody else? I'm trying to give
you're
you a
talking about
definition.
killing
How am I
pigs, but
conceding?
you're trying to defend veganism, bro.
Oh my gosh, I'm not conceding. I'm trying to apply with the definition. You told me, well, what is moral consideration, right? And I told you,
hold up.
in this case, I was trying to elaborate on my argument.
In this,
Yeah,
go
infinite
ahead. Sorry.
regress. I
Go
told you
ahead.
it'd be infinite regress. So we were to just give like multiple, more like infinite amount of moral consideration. And at this point, we'll just ruin the earth. We'll ruin our own civilization. So there'd be no point unless we just benefit the things that we have now and progress in like a good way by evolution and different types of cause and different types of sequence instead of just killing off animals just to benefit our own needs. There's other alternatives that we can do besides more consideration and other animals to basically benefit from the earth. I'm not saying that more consideration in itself is wrong, and I'm saying applying it to animals and stuff, even though we have other virtues that we can apply, it just be wrong in itself. Like, it's plus salad and stuff like that. Veganism in itself is beneficial. So I don't know what your argument is. I think you're just misinterpreting my argument, honestly.
Did you hear what you just said?
Yeah, I hear what I just said. Why?
You just said, I don't think we should give animals moral consideration because of salads and veganism. What?
What? I just told you how it
What?
benefits in this. No, I just explained as to how it benefits.
You said there are alternatives. You
I'm
said there
trying
are
to give you
alternatives like
situations what I
veganism and
presented.
hold on. You said there are alternatives like salads and veganism. Alternatives to what? Killing animals. But you said the only reason that we can give something moral consideration is its utility. And I've already explained to you that yes, we get more utility from killing them. So if that's your criteria, then it's okay to kill them. So
Wait.
what's your
Let me
point?
get my elaboration. Let me get an elaboration. All right. So basically, the state of use, right? The state of use. I said that we need utility to a certain extent. I literally say when we're establishing the topic that it's to a certain extent. I say that in the chat. I told you to a certain extent.
Okay. Then
Right? So
how
I'm
do you
saying that
how
utility.
do
So if
moral
the person in question,
moral
wait. If
considerability.
the person in question has no numerical value or no type of value that we can apply to the person in question, then we shouldn't apply it. If we have animals, for example, right, they can benefit and they can make bonds with people, and they are actually persons who can actually, like, I don't know, like, have relationships with people instead of just abandoning them. For example, orphans. We wouldn't kill orphans automatically for their own, like, their own stupidity and shit like that. We would actually like spawn to those orphans, for example. So we can't apply it. I'm talking about utility and
Okay,
ways of
so so how do you
I
determine
don't know.
moral consideration then? If it's not utility, how do you determine moral consideration?
I just told you, right? We can do other like merch. Like if we're
See,
talking about
saying other
realism,
things isn't telling me.
yeah. So is it based on like humanic realism or is it based on like theoretical cases? I'm not sure. If it's like based on what we know, right, then we can use alternatives like eating salad. I don't know, reconstruction and basically I don't know, find a way to repopulate.
Hello?
Oh my, yeah, you guys can. We could
Yeah.
find other ways to basically progress like humanity instead of just killing them because I think that's just digressing it, but also regressing it, but to a certain extent.
Stop talking. How do you
Yeah,
determine moral considerability? You just said something like actual nonsense. How do you determine moral considerability?
yeah, the utility,
Oh
right?
wait, hold no.
Like,
Stop,
other,
stop now. So if
wait. I'm
utility
going
is
to
all you
elaborate
have,
when I mean utility. You're gonna keep on talking over me. I'm saying
go ahead.
when I mean utility, I'm really basically applying like basically the virtues a person does. I'm saying there's other alternatives instead of
Why are
just
we
trying to
talking
apply
about
this
people?
utility.
Why are we talking about people?
Yeah, because people matter in this case. People
We're talking
matter in
about
this case.
we're talking about everything. And we're talking about everything that you
Yeah,
consider
we're
morally
talking about
considerable.
everything.
No, it's if
Yes,
it's
and
things that you consider morally considerable, that's animals and people, right? If it's inherently wrong to kill and eat animals. But the problem here
okay.
is that if it's based off of utility, animals have more utility as livestock than they do as fucking like fun buddies, as pets.
Yeah.
Where not everybody can
Wait.
have a fucking pig as a pet, bro. Not everybody's gonna have fucking cows. So there
Yeah,
are
yeah,
more.
Yeah, do you believe in pragmatic ethics? Because I think when you're trying to apply these notions, you need to also apply
Hold
to
up.
everything else.
Hold up. The thing is, I'm not applying them. It's your standard. You keep
Okay,
saying
my standards,
utility.
right? I'm a pragmatic ethical. Yeah, ethically
So, so,
pragmatic, right?
so if
So
we're
I'm saying
going
if
off
all
your
animals,
standard, it's okay to kill them.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying the term is on the utility in itself. So let's say the animal in question has no value, right? Or it doesn't, or it's like basically a premonitional need, and we'll use it. But if it's not, then we wouldn't use it.
And the thing is, do you know how many people live their lives from farms? How many billions of dollars of families that provide that can make like good money for their like generational wealth through just livestock and farms and owning land? All of that positive well-being and utility from killing animals. Oh my gosh! So it looks like it's moral.
I just gave an example of how that would just be
You're
applied
giving.
to.
The thing is, but the thing is,
Yeah,
you can give.
you can
I'll
apply the
hold up,
same type of.
hold up, pause,
Yeah,
pause. But
people are
no,
still cannibals
the
though. Yo, yo,
reason
yo,
why I'm
yo, wait, give me a second. People are still cannibals though.
irrelevant,
They can kill
irrelevant,
people from orphan. Yeah, they are
irrelevant,
applied here. They're
irrelevant,
applied here. I'm talking about
irrelevant.
ethical veganism.
That is
Ethical.
irrelevant. People being cannibals is irrelevant. That's immoral. Yes, I'll agree to
I'm
you.
just making
Cannibalism.
an example. It's an analogy. It is. It's not relevant. It's actually an
Hold up,
analogy.
but
Basically,
not an analogy
yeah,
to anything.
yeah,
No,
it's intrinsic. Yeah,
not a.
intrinsic
It's
to the base
not an
itself.
analogy. Not an analogy to
I
anything.
already, you want me
Be,
to explain as to how it's intrinsic? Because basically, right, it explains how we draw the distinction between animals and their ethical value, and then also we draw the distinction between humans and their ethical value. Right? They have two different types of distinctions, right? Do they not? So that's how it's that's what I'm trying to make make the distinction between. Like, if we were to why would we handle cannibals and we needing cannibals the same as we doing it? We would just use other alternatives like animals. So can't we just use I don't know, salad as another alternative, just like we use for humans? Like, we wouldn't kill humans, right? Instead of animals, we would go to animals. If we wouldn't kill animals, we go to plants. When we run
you
out of plants,
realize how
yeah,
ridiculous you
I'll say
sound
that
right now? Do
fine.
you realize how ridiculous you sound right now? Your argument to prove why killing animals is immoral is, well, we don't eat humans, so since we don't eat humans, let's not eat animals and eat salads. But
Okay.
hold on, no. This is the no. Stop. This is the problem. This is the problem here. You acknowledge that your source of moral consideration is utility, and then when we get to the point that killing animals and using them as livestock provides more utility than eating salads, yes, that may be an alternative
Yeah,
in
you
some
never
cases.
get. Yeah,
Stop. Nope.
so you
Stop.
agree
Stop.
that we
Stop.
get. So you
Stop.
agree that's more.
Hold up. Stop. The reason why I'm saying stop is because eating salads is only a better alternative in very, very specific scenarios. That is an outlier. The vast majority of the time, the preponderance of evidence is killing animals is utility. Because no, it provides families with generational wealth through land and farming. It feeds fucking the entire country, right? And it's much more affordable to the average person who can't afford a vegan diet. So
Yeah,
it.
I'm pragmatic ethic. Yeah,
No, you're hold up. You're
avoid
not.
that.
Hold up. Stop.
We could still avoid that condition, right? Every time to turn which I really told you.
They'll
Told me
stop.
you agree that's more
Stop. You just
beneficial.
no.
Just trying
Now
to
you're.
go to your relevant
I
family
just
who need
debunked
money.
what you
Like,
said.
bro, I
You're
don't
saying
care
it
about
again.
that.
I just debunked what you said, and you're saying it again.
I'm saying it again. I'm trying to
You literally are. You just said the alternatives thing again. I explained to you why those alternatives are the outliers. They do not work
and
in
then
this.
repeated your argument. You said it's still
But hold up.
I'm trying to be and I just told you that
No, they are.
like everything every thing that have a value only things, right? And we should apply the same metric to humans, the same apply metric to that. Except we didn't really hear about that. I want to do the same metric, which is also
Hold up.
to go circular, trying to do that.
It's not circular because if this is your standard and you realize that more utility is provided in a greater preponderance, yes, there's alternatives of salad and vegan and shit. Yes, that's an alternative, but the vast majority of utility is what? From killing the animals. Is that not correct? Is that not correct? Is that
Yeah,
not
we're
correct?
debating from the
Is that but look, is that hold on. The reason why we cannot change the metric is because that alternative that you're giving does not provide the same utility.
Yeah, and I just told you as to how we can live.
The vegan shit does not provide the same.
You want me to give you a circumstance in which we can live out it? Or no?
You are giving me individual circumstances while I'm giving you the vast majority.
I'm not pragmatic. Yeah, I'm talking about the.
That's not being pragmatic.
Yeah,
hold up. You're being hold up. If you are being, you're not being pragmatic at all. Because if you were being pragmatic, you would. You are not being pragmatic because you are not going off the consistent results. The consistent results show that killing the animals provides the most utility, so it's moral. But you're saying in some individual, you're saying in some individual cases there are alternatives to where it provides more utility, not killing the animals. But your individual cases are outliers in the grand scheme of things. I apologize for talking over.
Actually acknowledge my circumstances. I just told you these circumstances which from that. So I'm gonna change that. I'm putting this question: why the data we need? Why the data even from the day?
You're not. The whole thing is, pause. No, I'm about to be done with this conversation because it's stupid. It's stupid. You can't say it's better when your criteria is utility. You're not saying it's better. You're agreeing it's not. You literally have conceded already. Rambling on nothing.
If you want, we could just like conclude here. But I think I'm rambling.
All right, I'm gonna conclude here. You go first.
Actually, I only remember from the beginning. You know, I guess,
if you want to conclude, if you don't want to conclude, I'll conclude, and then we can stop.
Okay, that's fine. I don't really care.
Okay. Well, you don't want to conclude. I'll give my conclusion.
Yeah.
He agrees that utility is his basis to give things moral value, and then when he's confronted with the fact that killing animals provides the most utility for society, he continued to give individual cases that do not provide nearly as much utility, and then tries to argue that that is somehow morally better, even though it does not follow the standard he gave. His argument was an entire non sequitur, as in the conclusion does not follow from any of his premises. I've explained that, but he did not recognize it, so I believe I won.
Okay, let me address that one for like a non sequitur real quick.